Well, you could call it a stay of execution of sorts here in California for all of the scores of rideshare drivers, Uber and Lyft. An appeals court granted a reprieve for them, at least temporarily, just for less than a week, really, while they decide what to do in this battle with the state. The state wants rideshare drivers to be designated as employees, not independent contractors. Well, Uber and Lyft are fighting that, obviously, and a lot of the drivers don't want this either. It means they could be put out of work, especially at a time when this is really all they have as far as income. So what are those drivers going to do when this decision finally comes down next week?
Is it a good decision, or is this really wacky? Because we want to get into that too.
Yeah, let's get into it with the guy who knows how to follow the money. Daymond John from Shark Tank joining us as he does every week. Daymond, welcome back, man.
Thanks,
what
guys.
are we going to do here about these rideshare drivers?
Ooh, this is a sticky situation. I can't say I have the answer, but let me set the stage. You know, they want to make these Uber and Lyft drivers, they want to make them W-2 employees instead of 1099. And for those who don't know, when you're 1099, you're in charge of all your expenses. But if you made $100, you can say to the government, well, 40 of those dollars were spent on these things, and you can, then only get taxed on the $60 that you cleared, which maybe you'll spend 20, 25 to go to Uncle Sam. If you are a W-2, they take out all your taxes immediately. So if you had $100, then you are taxed immediately your $30 or $45. So first of all, that's a challenge, right? Because, then you work for somebody. But where is the need for this coming? Let's follow the money. Is it because the California says, well, I want to take more money out for payroll taxes? Is it because the car companies, when the car companies got disrupted, they didn't get disrupted because Ford thought other people were going to buy another car brand. No, people started doing ride shares, Uber and Lyft. Are they pushing for legislation? Or does California want to say, look at how much our employment has grown because these numbers are inflated?
So hey, Daymond, can I interrupt for a second? I get what you're saying. Is it because the state wants more money?
It's always going to be the money. They're going to want to have more money. And it doesn't mean that people are going to be W-2, because if you are currently employed, you may have a conflict of interest and now cannot do Uber. There's a lot of people that are employed right now that at night on the weekends do Uber. So I believe it's a money issue. The state wants more money. They're feeling like Uber's making the money. Now, remember, Uber still takes 25% or 20% Uber and Lyft of what that person makes, and then they still got to pay for their own gas.
But they got to pay taxes too. So Uber pays taxes. Even an independent contractor pays taxes.
Right.
And I mean, to me, it's not. There's nothing special about Uber or Lyft. Are they trying to eliminate independent contractors? Because that would devastate people in the job market.
You are 100% right. So now we're getting to the consumer part of the challenge, what the state is doing. Uber and Lyft would not exist if taxi cabs weren't crappy years ago. If Uber and Lyft go away, now the kids like the Travis who created Uber and Lyft, you don't want people you're not telling them they can go create a DoorDash or a TaskRabbit, because those people are next. And you are hurting innovation. You're telling people in the most amazing country in the world, I don't want you to be an innovator. I want you to work for everybody else. And that is not good for anybody.
There are some employers, many employers, who can't afford to put somebody on a full-time payroll because they just don't have the money, but they can hire them as independent contractors. So if they can't hire them as employees, those people are going to be out of work. And doing that at a time like this is insane.
You are spot on. I didn't need to be on this episode because you got it spot on.
By the way, got to be pretty proud moment for you, man. Anytime you can get a shout out in a song with Jay-Z and Pharrell, congratulations. If you haven't heard it yet, Pharrell's new song featuring Jay-Z, Entrepreneurs out. And FUBU got a shout out, man. Congrats.
What do you mean? That song that was just released last night at 12:01 by Pharrell and Jay-Z? I never heard of it. Listen.
Oh, so you've heard this? This isn't news to you?
Anytime you can buy one Gucci, buy two FUBUs. But let me go back to something we can all learn from. Listen, Jay-Z has a very successful clothing line. Pharrell has a very successful clothing line. We always talk about African Americans and the rappers who don't get together and they don't band together. Both of those men put my brand and my partner's brand in there, and they cherish something that I created, and I have nothing to do but take my hat off to these men who people won't acknowledge that part. All they'll acknowledge is when rappers and everybody fights, but you know what? They're two leaders in the industry. They respected something that I created out of my basement, and I'm their biggest fans, and you know, it's just amazing. I think we can learn from that part of it more than anything else.
Hey, thanks, man. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Stay safe.